say there was something, but you say there was nothing, but you say it with a smile.
Whoa! All right, welcome to the Fifth Quarter Fantasy Cast. It's your host. This is the Fifth Quarter Fantasy Cast, and I'm your host, Coach V. Here with my co-host.
Did you think we were on Sixth Quarter Fantasy Cast?
Well, I have like 9 podcasts. They pretty much pay me full time to do this now, so I get confused which podcast I'm on. So yeah, welcome to the Fifth Quarter Fantasy Cast. I'm Coach V. This is Dr. Dry. His tum-tum is full of puffs and yogurt bites right now.
Munch.
The diet of a father.
Yep.
Feed those kids.
How you doing, your little fourth grader?
I'm doing good. I'm in the playoffs in 2 leagues. I'm out of the playoffs in 2 leagues. I missed the playoffs last night by, a lot.
Oh, in Dynasty?
Yeah. So,
yeah.
But you missed as well.
Yeah, and we don't have first round picks.
No,
we gave those away.
We're really, you should really listen to us. We're good at this fantasy football thing.
Yeah, we make playoffs half the time around here. I'm in playoffs in 3 leagues, and one of those, our work league actually, it's kind of neat how they do it. I hate that it's on ESPN, but one thing that I like is that it's a 2-week playoff per round, and it's the top 4 teams.
Whoa.
So smaller league, but we had started playoffs last week, and you just combine the scores from last week and this week. So really kind of makes the wins, I don't know, like it's not as fluky. Like if you lose, like you really got beat. If you won, you really beat somebody. So,
yeah, I like that.
So, yeah, we got Taylor Weeman in the house. Whoop, whoop. And he is carrying the comment section tonight, putting them on his back. So that's pretty exciting. And
I wouldn't want anyone else.
anyway, yeah, so I got secured a 1 seed, and then in my other league, I'm a 2 seed. That's the 4-teamer. And then another league, I'm a 3 seed, but I completely messed up the last couple weeks and don't have a bye week. So that would have really helped.
Yeah.
I feel like my super dominant dynasty team is in shambles. We're getting all the worst injuries at the worst times, and we're probably going to get beat by an 8 seed this week. So that's exciting.
I really love in one of my leagues how the seeding worked out. Basically, the top half of the bracket is all the teams who are like sneaking into the playoffs, who kind of suck, and then the bottom half of the bracket is all the hot teams that are I think so. The hot teams are all going to kill each other, and then they're basically going to play the winner of all the cold teams, of which I'm one of the cold teams, and so I just can't wait to watch them all kill each other, and then by the time they cool off, my squad's going to be hot in the championship, and it's going to be all good. So yeah, I love it. Sometimes seeding just works out really nicely. So yeah,
definitely.
And so yeah, Taylor Weeman, it's all on you, buddy. You got to do this.
Yep.
Don't
make sure you get some customers at the liquor store to tune in.
Yeah, and
do a little recruiting.
Don't skid mark anything. Just keep it clean and white, and that's all you got to do. So as we do around here, we like to give out some awards, and so Christmas time is quickly approaching, and so our first award we like to give out is the Hillshire Farms Holiday Sauce, Cheese, and Cracker Gift Basket List Disappointment. And so these are the players that you're upset with. You expected a new iPhone, and no, it was cheese and crackers and old meat wrapped in plastic. So,
but cheese and crackers.
These players make you feel sad, but if you get hungry, you'll still eat it. So who for you is your Hillshire boy this week?
I didn't put a lot of thought into it. I'd say definitely worried about the entire Houston Texans offense if Stroud doesn't play. I think pretty much nobody's startable. Even though Davis Mills was slinging it last year, but he's not doing that this year. So I don't know. And then probably last week, Mike Evans. I don't have any shares of him. I'm always against him when he goes off. I wasn't against him this week though, and he disappointed a lot of people with like 1.8 points or something. And
Yeah.
he was in like a real smash spot. I think they were against, I don't know, they were against someone bad. It was like Atlanta or Carolina or
Yeah,
something,
it was
and he
Atlanta.
just
Yeah.
yeah, and he just didn't do anything. And anyway, that's not, he'll go off against me for a 50 burger in the championship last year though, but whatever. So anyway, yeah, I'd say Mike Evans probably one of the more disappointing players this week. He'll get back on track, but right now he just don't got it. So
Yeah. Yeah. Okay. Yeah, so Weeman wants to know when I Got a Truck is going to be premiered. So we do have one of our sponsors this week is a new up and coming artist, and they want to promote a song that's going to be dropping here soon. So that'll be about halfway through. That's in our little transition points. Probably about 15, 20 minutes in is when you can expect the premiere of I Got a Truck, You Got a Truck, We All Got a Truck. So get ready for that.
yep,
Get your popcorn
be on the
ready.
lookout for that. Get your popcorn ready. So
So my Hillshire
so
boy,
oh yeah.
F my Hillshire boy. So my Hillshire boy
I got distracted.
is Jalen Hurts, and because we love Jalen, he's great. He's the number one QB in our hearts and on our minds and on fantasy. But
Number
2 weeks in a
one.
row, the whole Eagles team has had a really slow start for like weeks now. But then the past 2 weeks, it's kind of bit them. And now, like, we're getting bad fantasy performance. We're getting like poor scores. It was like, oh, a terrible first half, but they're okay. They're going to like clean it up in the second half. And now it's like, they're not even cleaning it up in the second half. And this is the worst time for this to be happening.
Yeah.
Jalen Hurts owners are all going to the playoffs, and it's a really bad time for that. So hopefully, in our Week 15 preview, we'll be talking about the Eagles turning things around.
Yeah, it's definitely anytime. I mean, and he'll be all right. Like he's Jalen Hurts.
Yeah,
He's way better than Patrick Mahomes.
yeah,
That's a big time Hillshire boy. You're looking at, if you got Matthew Stafford, you're probably starting him over Mahomes this week. I think a lot of people have had enough of Mahomes.
yeah.
He might even be on the shit the bed award. If you don't have him in Dynasty, maybe you've made that other move to, like, maybe do you consider a Jake Browning over Patrick Mahomes? Probably not, but maybe. It's
Right.
tempting. Maybe a Jordan Love over Mahomes.
Yeah, you might.
Maybe a Will Levis against the Texans over Mahomes. And it's not Patrick's fault. I think it's and this is kind of an extra Hillshire boy, I guess, but it's not Patrick's fault. It's those shit ass receivers that he has. Like they're so bad. Like I don't know. I thought that they would be a pretty fun receiving core coming in, but Rashee Rice seems to be the only one who's starting to somewhat emerge. I think there's some trust building there, but other than that, the usual shit the bed suspects who were on that list early. But yeah, I think Jalen Hurts will get it together, especially now that we've officially put him on the Hillshire Farms list.
He's on alert. Yeah, that's when they know.
Yeah. So, it's one thing to be on that list, but you really don't want to be on this list. But maybe you do want to be on this list because a lot of people turn it around once they're on this list. The sleep number, that's the B award. That's shit the bed for all you children out there. And these are the players that you're just done with. And we see three guys up here this week. Vinny, which one did you put?
So I put Noah Brown on the S, the B. He was a great story. He had those 2 games, then he got hurt. We're all hype
Those
on him.
2 games.
He did. He had 2 games, then he got hurt, and we were super hype. And even if he's okay, like injury wise, the Texans aren't okay. Like, I think
No.
he's not a number one receiver. He's not a number two receiver. He needs a number one and a number two receiver in order to be what he needs to be. And so
Yeah.
moving forward, no Nico, no Tank. It's just not going to work with them two out. And so I see Noah Brown. Just if you got Noah Brown shares, probably go ahead and just get him off your squad. Unless you're just, I don't know, you don't want him to go off for someone else in the playoffs. You might hang on to him, but I don't think anyone's going to be like no reasonable person is going to be starting Noah Brown for the rest of the fantasy season.
Yeah, you're pretty fucked up if you're starting Noah Brown. You need to not be saying yes at a Noah.
Yeah.
And yeah, just the Texans, they're a huge mess right now. It's just not what it used to be. And it's the playoffs, so it's scary to take on that risk, especially if you have risk in other areas. We all know running back landscape's still a mess. So I mean, yeah, I get why Noah Brown's on there. Noah browned his pants, and now he's on the Shit the Bed Award winner list. We got a couple other bald men on here. um, Josh Dobbs, what the hell?
Oh,
He, so, a man of our hearts, but now a man of our farts. He injured Justin Jefferson. We waited forever for that guy to get back, and he just throws a shitty pass,
yeah.
and Jefferson got hit in the back, and it hurt his front, and that's no good. So, I mean, I know he's got a pretty good chance to play. The game's on Saturday, so it's a day earlier. And I don't know, you kind of worry about him going out there getting you another 4 points and getting hurt again. And he's got Nick Mullins throwing him the ball. So, so Josh Dobbs, didn't even put up any points. Just kind of, I think the one thing that you take away from that game is he injured Justin Jefferson because he threw a bad ball, and he got benched, and they won the game 3-0.
Oh.
So Josh Dobbs, it's a long way down. So anyway, we hope you bounce back though, because you're a cool guy. Yeah. And then I put myself on there because, and I didn't even discuss this with anybody, but yeah, I mean, I just felt like I had a bad show last week. I think sometimes you got to hold yourself accountable, and I just brought some real small dick energy, and we need to bring that medium dick energy. That's what kind of show we are. So, so putting myself on there, I'm not done with myself, but I did shit the bed one time. So, I've cleaned it up, and I'm back in action now, and that won't happen again. So I'm just gonna hold myself to that better standard. I just felt last week I kind of came out flat, and that won't happen this week, and that's a promise.
Dang. Wow. Well, that's the good thing about being on the S to B, is it motivates you to get off.
You do bounce back.
We should all put ourselves on the S to B at least once a month, just to kind of keep yourself motivated. It's a good thing.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah, you gotta. I remember once back when you were a nice business owner, you gave yourself a 1-star review or something, or a 3 or something like that, publicly on Google. And I thought that was just such a balls move. And I was like, I'm gonna do that here and put myself on the Shit the Bed Award.
Yeah, that's the first and last time an owner's ever downrated their own business publicly. I just thought someone might see that and go, "Oh, that's a neat guy." Like,
you had a physical location where you paid rent and everything, so it was like a real deal.
Yeah, like you never go to Starbucks and you see the owners posted on there. Yeah, sometimes we do great, sometimes we do not so great, but come on in anyway.
Yeah.
Yes, I forgot about that. I thought that was a fun thing to do.
That was really nice of you. So we all do it. Sometimes we S the B, and that's okay, because you do always have the chance to get that 11th McNugget. That's now, right. This award is designated for those who were a good surprise. Maybe it's someone that you're not depending on, we do have some big names and some small names and some no-name loser coaches on here, and Rashad White down at the bottom, who is the number 4 running back in all of fantasy. So Ben Hall dared us to put him on there, and we didn't want to do wrong by our boy, so we put him on there, and he just gets to peep out down there at the bottom. Ba-da-ba-ba-ba, McDonald's. I'm Rashad White. And so anyway, this week, these are your good surprises. Oh, I didn't update. It still says week 12. Oh no.
Back to the
Oh.
SC for you.
Yeah, back to that for me. So, dang. Yeah, I did miss that. I was in a hurry. All right, so anyway, back to the S, the B. That's why I'm on there. So again, not giving this award to Arthur Smith. He's not a good surprise. Even though Bijan was getting some catches this past week, he still only ran it for 30 yards. So he got lucky that he fell into the end zone. And mine this week is Ezekiel Elliott. I started him in a spot where, like, I've won games, but I haven't scored a lot of points. So kind of the opposite of our dynasty league. And anyway, yeah, this is the one where I lost that second seed. But Ezekiel Elliott tried his best, 27 fantasy points. And where the hell did that come from? I just picked him up on a whim because I had like Zach Charbonnet and Tyjae Spears as my only options. And anyway, I was like, you know what? I might as well get the primary guy. Ramondre Stevenson's hurt. Let's pick up Zeke. Maybe he plunges into the end zone. And boy, did he. He was so involved in the offense. Great surprise for me. He's my 11th McNugget. Munch, munch, munch.
I believed in Zeke this past week. I picked him up and started him in the league because there was no one else. There was just no one else like on the team, and I was like, I think he's gonna have a day. And it was just one of those where, like, there's the ones where you pick him up and you're like, I don't know if this is gonna happen. For some reason, I was just like, yeah, this is a lot.
Calling it.
This is gonna. And it did. Like, and I told other people too, like in other leagues, I was like, yeah, you should pick up Zeke Elliott and play him. Like, like
treat it like it's 2017, baby.
So that was cool, but I mean, I wouldn't expect it again. That was just
no. I mean, I'll probably bench him and then start him in another week or something. Break him out for the championship. Who knows?
Yeah, Zeke for the champ. So yeah, I had DK Metcalf on here just because, like, he's produced like 5. I think it's like he's produced like 15 plus points, like 5 out of the past 6 weeks or 4 out of the past 5 weeks. And I think he deserves it, especially because he retained his value even with Drew Lock as his starting quarterback, and he kept getting work and stayed relevant in the offense, where like the other receivers haven't really found the end zone in the past couple weeks. So Metcalf, who's been probably a pretty frustrating player for you if you have him on your team.
He's probably still like a high wide receiver 2 or something on the year, though.
So, like, you might be upset with him, but he might be hitting his stride at the right time, and he might be a startable asset for the rest of the fantasy playoffs because the Seahawks are going to need to play to the best of their abilities. They're in playoff mode today. They were in playoff mode last week. So DK Metcalf, I think it's not bad. I don't have any shares of Metcalf anywhere, but he's a nice play for the next couple weeks, I think. And we'll talk about that in the preview. I think they have a good matchup coming up. So.
Strong words from a strong man about a strong man.
Is Metcalf the one who does the sign language when he scores?
Yeah, he do like FU or something, or no, we stand on business or something.
Yeah, I think he does like wholesome things. Like he does wholesome signs. He should do more cuss words though.
Yeah, I wonder if he'd get fined for like one of those or something. Like, hey, I'm just using sign language.
That's our first bird on the podcast.
Fly high, baby. How about that for a thumbnail?
Oh, yes.
Fifth quarter fantasy cast, rated R.
So I see you put in a new little banner here. What's up with this playoffs and potential MVPs.
Oh, I didn't even run that by you. Let's see. So yeah, just and I don't know if I should have even put it, but yeah, I was just thinking, and I was like, you know what? That was the end of the regular season, and we didn't prepare anything special. We've both been very busy, and just a lot going on everywhere. But figured I don't know if just there's anything off of the top of your head. I think we already kind of talked about playoffs, but potential MVPs this year. I'm sure we'll put together like something similar to a God Squad, but more of a reaction thing than a prediction thing. Whenever everything comes to an end this season, but um, I mean, any guys that really stand out for you, and it doesn't have to be one; it can be several guys that you've just seen really come through.
Yeah, I always like to think about like waiver wire MVPs, just like
Yeah,
MVPs waiver wire. And so for me, Kyron Williams and Puka Nakua, both on
yeah,
the same squad,
yeah.
they were like waiver wire MVPs this year. Those were two guys that were available early in waiver wire season. You may have blown half or a quarter of your fab on them, um, and it worked out. Like unlike some other big waiver wire pickups this year that may have not worked out, those have worked out. They've been startable guys all year long, and that's like one of my favorite things is like who you picked up off the waiver wire who just works out not just for like a week or two, but for the rest of the season. You might throw
That's
Jerome,
your boy.
like Jerome Ford might be in there. Like people weren't sure what would happen, and obviously, what's his face, butt cheese boy keeps stealing his touchdowns, but he's still like a good fantasy asset.
Oh, Kareem Cunt.
Yeah, yeah. First cunt on the podcast there.
Vulgar show tonight.
It's a night of first. So what about you? What stands out to you?
Um, let's see. Well, I would say Tank Delbay's not here for the playoffs, so I don't think we can put him in. I'll go ahead and say it. Ben will be very proud of me. Rashad White.
Yeah.
Um, yeah, running back four. I think we all kind of saw it in preseason, and then after a couple weeks, we were like, oh, we were wrong. And then if you held on to him, you were pretty happy because he's somebody that you picked up probably somewhere fourth, sixth round, something like that. Um, so that's been awesome. The obvious MVP, if you picked anywhere from like 4 to 8, you probably are a Tyreek Hill owner,
Yeah.
and you got the one. Like I know he's coming off of kind of a bad game where he got hurt a little bit against the Titans of all. I don't know, but and then I don't. I need to check his stats, but DeAndre Hopkins has been pretty good. I don't think he's like an MVP caliber, but you definitely got good return there. Considering how shitty the Titans have been and everything.
Yeah.
Trying to think of just like anybody else that I'm like really thankful for, I guess. But yeah,
Yeah.
Puka, Kyron, those are some main ones.
Trey McBride's kind of a funky one. Um,
Yeah.
he had value like with Dobbs, and then his values like even increased even more with Kyler. So it's kind of crazy, but some finding tight ends has been a little bit easier this year.
Yeah.
But
Ferguson over in Dallas, he's been neat. Ferguson.
yeah, at first it was like, oh crap, they're like have like a three-headed tight end monster situation, but then like Ferguson's kind of like rose to the top. He's the guy, and I can't tell
Yeah.
if like Sleeper always keeps calling him like Fergie, and they'll put
Yeah.
the pink nails emoji with him. And I don't know if
Nice.
it's just because of his name, or does he do something where he's like extra in some way? So I
I
don't
don't
know.
know. I don't think he lives an alternative lifestyle, if that's
Yeah.
what you mean.
Or just
I
like,
think
is he like an extra guy where he's just like over the top? He doesn't seem like he's over the top, but
yeah. I mean, he's a tight end. It's I don't know. Maybe he's like I have a tight end, or like I don't know. But I think it's just because of his name,
Or-
um, Fergie. Um, but yeah, I mean, and it's cool to also just kind of recapping, see some of our rookies start to get some love, even though it's a little too late for it to be a full body of work. But maybe it's a preview into next year, like Chase Brown, like dude he's fast. Tajay Spears, he does a lot whenever he gets the ball. It's starting to become those rookie running back seasons, even though they don't have like the keys to the car yet. Like maybe they get that next year. So just some situations to monitor, some situations that you're liking moving forward and everything. Um, but yeah, I mean, definitely been a hard year with injuries, and that's not over yet. I think it's kind of coming to the forefront right now. I think, and I haven't looked, but probably over half of the NFL starting quarterbacks have to be injured. Like
That seems
it feels like a lot. Like whoever started the year definitely isn't the starter right now. So that's been hard to because there's so like it just feels bad going into I have the Holy Trinity at receiver. Tyreek Hill kind of banged up right now. Justin Jefferson kind of banged up right now, and he's got Nick Mullins as his quarterback. Jamar Chase, what the hell, 4 points last week, and has Jake Browning throwing him the ball instead of Joe Burrow. So it's a completely different situation than what I had envisioned, and it leaves you wondering like what could have been this year. So anyway, but yeah, I like that Jameer Gibbs has gotten some usage. They finally woke up there. But yeah, it's been I don't know. Rookies have definitely started to show up. And one thing that I think is just kind of an observation, but JSN, he was the top rookie coming off the board in those rookie drafts, and where is he? Like he's been outshined by Jordan Addison, who's recently disappeared. But speaking of Jordan Addison, there's one of his truthers. Matt
Oh
Kogar
man,
has entered the room.
super fan
What the fuck
Matt.
is up, boys? Yeah, super fan Matt. Man, I made that big trade with him. He now has the number 3 pick, and he's still in the playoffs. So,
Oh,
um, got that lottery pick. So, next year, moving into more of a pick out of a hat for the 4 that didn't make it to avoid tanking, so that Joe doesn't tank again. Um, but anyway, we'll just call him out. But we didn't have a rule against it, so anyway, yeah, that's where I think I am with a lot of our potential MVPs. I'd love to put more thought in it, and we can put together an official silly
yeah,
thing, sort of like the God Squad that we made, but more of a reactionary thing, I think.
right, yeah. So look out for that post season as you're getting ready for your rookie draft prep next year. Uh, so,
Already planned.
oh man, he's already got a plan. Jeez, that's why he's a super.
Love it.
So before we get into our Week 15 preview, we're going to take our second here to, we always have new advertisers. We're always looking to expand. And so we have a new guy here, Aiden Brantley, and he has, he has a new song coming out. So just listen up.
Hey y'all, it's your boy Aiden Brantley, letting you know I just dropped my latest hit on Spotify. He's got a truck, she's got a truck, we all got trucks. Give it a listen today. I'll also be out at Berkeley's Boots this Saturday signing autographs. Come on out, pick yourself up a handful of Chex Mix and say hey.
All right, there you go. So yeah, this Saturday, head on out to Berkeley's Boots. I think he's going to be set up in the parking lot. Hopefully, the weather holds up. They do have a backup plan, an indoor site for him to set up at. So if it's bad weather, don't worry, still come. He's still signing autographs. The bowl of Chex Mix will still be there available. They really operate on like a handful kind of thing, so there's not going to be any tongs for the Chex Mix. It's literally like you got to go get a handful of Chex
Yeah.
Mix. But that's all right. It's it's Aiden Brantley.
Will there be a hand washing station?
Like get in on Aiden Brantley at the floor. You want to be in early on Aiden Brantley. All right. You want to be that guy who says, I knew him when he was just signing autographs at Berkeley's Boot Barn. Okay, because
Exactly.
you're going to be paying $200-$300 a ticket for him at an arena somewhere, and it's going to be huge. So hey, we got his money already. He paid to advertise on the show. That's all that matters. So, anyways, go check him out. He's a good dude.
Yep, and he's on Spotify. Other Aiden Brantley tracks are Bud Light on Ice, Girls Are My World, and don't forget, They Got a Truck and Maybe a Penis Too.
That's for the transgender crowd out there. He's an inclusive guy.
Yeah.
Doesn't want to let anyone down.
You don't get a lot of that in country music. So
No, really, no. They're not supportive of the Zays, and so Aiden Brantley loves them the Zays.
yeah, even though he's him.
Oh yeah, me and Superfan Matt had a little Derrick Henry trade, and it's been nice, but I didn't make the playoffs. So the whole goal was to have Henry so I could make the playoffs. Henry did his side of the deal. Just, the other players didn't follow up with theirs. But yes, since our trade, Derrick Henry has had like 3 or 4 great games. So yes, I'm happy with it.
Bums like Jalen Hurts.
Okay. And if Henry goes to the Ravens next year, best believe I have a pretty good asset. So I'm happy with that. If he's a Raven next year, Gus can sit down. I mean, can you imagine Derrick Henry's your goal line only back? Like, that's a great
Yeah, frick off. Yeah.
So,
Yeah, I mean, yeah, that sucks whenever you trade for a win now player, but then you forget to win now.
As you forget to win now.
Yeah, that's always rough. But you never know what could happen in a city like this. So also, oh man, I gotta check Underdog because I know we're going into that playoffs thing where we could win some real money.
Oh, not with the CJ Stroud team though, right?
Oh wait, we might have fallen out of favor. Hang on just a second.
Yeah, I got a bad feeling about that squad
Oh,
because
okay.
Jamar Chase, CJ Stroud, Ryan Tannehill, he hasn't done much. So.
Okay, here we go. We did get in. We punched our ticket in 2 leagues. So
Okay. All right.
one we finished second. Oh no. We don't have a quarterback. We have CJ Stroud, Ryan Tannehill, Trey Lance.
Oh no.
Running backs: Travis Etienne, DeAndre Swift, James Conner, Khalil Herbert, Deontay Foreman, Raheem Mostert, Chuba Hubbard. Wide receivers: Chase, Cup, Waddle, Devontae Smith, Odell Beckham Jr., Rashee Rice, John Mechie, Josh Downs. That's not bad.
No,
And then tight ends: Taysom Hill and Noah Fant.
Oh.
So I don't know, man. We might just win the $3 there.
Yeah.
Get ourselves a handful of checks mix.
That'll
And
buy.
then do what?
No, you go. Keep going.
Oh, okay. And then this other one. All right, we still have a quarterback here. So we finished in third, and we have and this is super flex, so this kind of sucks, but Jalen Hurts and CJ Stroud, which was awesome for a while. Running back: Najee Harris, Jahmyr Gibbs, Rashad White, Javonte Williams, Samaje Perine, Deuce Vaughn, who has scored 0 points. Wide receivers: A.J. Brown, Garrett Wilson, DeAndre Hopkins, Sky Moore, Rashid Shaheed, Jaden Reed, John Mechie, Josh Downs, Tank Dell, rest in peace. Tight ends: Dalton Kincaid, Chiga Okonkwo, and Mike Gesicki.
Oof.
We're probably only winning the $3 there too.
Yeah. But you know what? Other people are hurting too. Other people probably got a lot of hurt players on their squads.
Right.
So,
but we have Hurts. So
yeah.
maybe we got a good shot there. And if you don't know what the hell we're talking about, why don't you get your ass on over to Underdog Fantasy, use code 5th Quarter Fantasy, and Underdog will match your deposit up to $100. You put $50 in, you get $100. You put $100 in, you get $200. You put $1 in, you get $2. And then you can even make that zero just like us.
Yeah.
Get on over to Underdog Fantasy, bet your hard-earned money, get yourself a handful of checks mix.
So we got our Week 15 preview, which is going to be a lot of people's first week of the playoffs. And so these are important matchups. We got 9 games to go over with some key things. So The first one is Minnesota at Cincinnati. Really, what I got here is: do you think that Jake Browning and Chase Brown could be playoff saviors? These are guys who are probably, if you are in a league where the waiver wire is still open, these are guys you might be able to get on the waiver wire. Could they be saviors for your season? What do you think?
I think so. I think these are if you're in need, you've hit those late injuries, pick these guys up. I think I think they can definitely do some damage here in this first round. Um, it would have been way more exciting if we still had the right quarterbacks playing and everybody wasn't hurt and everything. But Chase Brown, he just Joe Mixon needs to get traded or something. Chase Brown's the guy. He's fast. He's great. Um, and you mentioned waiver wires even being open. I know some leagues close those, and I know I don't know. Like, what are your thoughts on that? I'm more of a fan of if you are eliminated, your team's locked because you have zero business competing in that bullshit toilet bowl while people are trying to win a championship and taking waiver wire stuff. But
Yeah.
I'm all for a waiver wire being open for people who are actually still competing.
Yeah, that's the way I like it. Is if there's a way to just lock out people who aren't like consolation bracket people, you can't play. Sorry, like no waiver wire for you. But if there's a way to like lock them out and just playoff people can be using the waiver wire, I think that's nice. Um, but if you don't have that in your league, then I really think like just kind of code of honor wise, people in like toilet bowls and stuff shouldn't be using the waiver wire.
Just go with what you got. Yeah.
Yeah, but people do. I mean, people like to get on the waiver wire even when it doesn't matter, just to like
Oof,
mess with someone.
I hate that.
And I don't know. That's just not very fun to me. Like it's just being like a jerk for no reason. It's kind of like
Yeah.
hoarding quarterbacks. Like if you have like six quarterbacks on your bench, it's just like, why are you doing that? Like, stop.
Yeah, like I don't care if I finish in ninth or 10th. Like why would that matter at all?
Yeah.
So anyway, yeah, I'm just like in fact like if I find myself in a toilet bowl or something like that, I'll just bench my lineup. I'll just take the zero
Yeah.
because that's not where I want to be in the first place.
Right. Yeah.
Especially if like and I like how our dynasty does it where that it makes you do the toilet bowl on sleeper and if you're not doing I don't know basically like I'm like hey whatever happens there does not matter, don't even pay it any attention, we're gonna go with how that top bracket finishes and go from there, and I think that's the best way to do it. but but yeah, I mean, just as a common courtesy, like, hey, if I'm not competing, what am I going to do with these people? Is it that important that I finish in seventh rather than ninth? There's no big payout here or anything like that. So yeah, I think other people should just be decent and not do that. But you got them D bags in those leagues that'll, they just have to have that pride of finishing in seventh. So, it
Weird.
sucks.
Yeah. I used to be that kind of idiot, but I'm reformed. Now I know. Toilet bowl. You don't
You
care.
had that Leanna pride.
Yeah. You just got to let it go sometimes. Like the ESPN league I'm in, once I was like eliminated from the playoffs, I like deleted the app. I don't even care anymore. It's over. I don't even want to see how it
Yeah.
shakes out. Like F that league. I'm done. Don't care. Um,
Yeah.
And so next matchup is Denver at Detroit. So Detroit gets to be at home. Detroit's look like doo doo. Jared Goff's looks like doo doo. Amon Ra had his first like really crap game this past week.
Yeah.
So
They were outside.
Yeah,
Yeah.
gosh, they got to learn how to play outside. Like half the stadiums are outside, guys.
Yeah. Matt with the Skittles shot there.
Ooh.
Skittles likes to compete for seventh and ninth. I know that. So
So do you think Detroit gets right against Denver? Denver's kind of hot AF right
um depends on where it's at. Is it in Denver or Detroit?
It's in Detroit.
Oh, yeah, they'll be fine. Yeah, the if it was in Denver, different story. But Jared Goff at home indoors, sign me up. So I think it's definitely a bounce back game. I love that Gibbs still produced, even though they were like sucking really bad.
Yeah.
Um, it still feels weird to call the Denver Broncos like a playoff team or
Yeah.
like that they're even alive because they did lose like 70 to whatever.
Yeah.
and
Everyone wrote them off.
and
It was over.
yeah, people don't forget. And I think, but yeah, I think the Lions bounce back. I don't think that they poop the bed twice in a row. They usually don't do that. Whenever they get embarrassed like that, they bounce back. They have some Leanna pride. They're not gonna just sit down and take it. Um, so you got that going on.
Okay. So next is Chicago at Cleveland. Um, Moore and Fields seems like a legit connection that works. So it's almost like as long as Fields is in the game, um, you can play DJ Moore. You may not always play Justin Fields, but you'll play DJ Moore.
Yeah.
So that seems like a legit thing that someone can rely on. I had to play Moore. I've been sitting Moore like all year, but I finally played him this week, and I was like, oh, cool, that worked, nice. It worked out. And so, but what about like Joe Flacco? Like, is Joe Flacco
Man,
that's a waiver wire pickup that could save someone who had a Justin Herbert on their
he's an 11th McNugget.
yeah.
We forgot all about him. Yeah,
Yeah.
man, he's awesome. Yeah, if you lost Herbert, like get the Flack attack. Go get him. He'll rise you to the top. He's been awesome. But I don't think many people are starting him because they're like, oh, he's old and gross, and and it's like, hey, he's making it work. He's and I don't know like where it came from because he definitely wasn't really like that with the Jets or the Ravens at the end there.
Yeah.
So yeah, it's kind of turning back the clocks a little bit. You love to see it.
Nice. So
Yeah,
now,
he's and Herbert's been feels like he's been kind of doo doo.
yeah, and now he's
He's
done.
hurt too.
He's out for the season. It's over. So he's been sucking. The whole team sucks. I mean, we could talk about like Keenan Allen. What do you do with Keenan Allen? Like, the whole team's falling apart. So yeah, it's tricky. Houston at Tennessee. Can we even play C.J. Stroud? Could someone play C.J. Stroud? Like, he's got no one.
I don't know. Is Dalton Schultz back?
I don't know if
I don't think that's enough. And the Titans, like, they shut down Miami.
yeah, that was weird.
That was the weirdest thing I've ever seen. Anyway, but man, you love seeing that fire out of Levis. He's
I like it.
the Mayo man. I'll drink another Levis latte, no problem for that guy. Get him a real O line and get him a real receiving core, and he's going to be something. But I don't think you can trust C.J. Stroud this week. Just he's losing all of his weapons. I think the Texans are, unfortunately, like if they were healthy, yeah, they'd probably be a playoff team. They had it going. C.J. Stroud is the guy, but you need somebody to throw to. You can't just have a ragtag like Kansas City type receiving core. So, I mean, yeah, it's I don't know. I think I don't know. I'm definitely going with. I'm more excited about the Titans on this one. Matt says it's Spears season. I agree. I mean, Derrick Henry still got his, and that's been cool. And but I think Spears is starting to really carve out a role here, and that's been really cool to see because I know we've been on him for a while. If Derrick Henry does get moved, I think we've seen Spears can do it all, and he doesn't have an ACL to tear, so he already did that twice, and he's a couple years removed from it, and obviously it doesn't affect him. So, anyway, and the main problem, like, there is concern there long term with Spears. Like, maybe he has more of a Jay Ajayi kind of career where he has a good few years and then it's just over, like, kind of early. But if you look at it, 27's the new 30. No one wants to pay running backs, so maybe that's fine. Maybe that's right on par. So get a good 4 or 5 years out of him. And but yeah, Spears season definitely going on. Then we have a nice personal question here. Do I beat Brett this week in round one? So I don't know. I think Brett is peaking right now. I think he has a lot of points, and Matt's team is on like I think a 3-game losing streak. So they are due to bounce back though. But I think Brett's got this one. I think it'll be close, but that brother rivalry always a fun one. So for those who don't know, Brett is Matt's older brother, and they've been playing fantasy together since they were 4 years old. So that's my take on that game.
New York Jets at Miami. Do you have any worries about Miami? They looked weird last night. Tyreek might be hurt. The Jets are good at defense. Does any of that bother you?
No, they beat them 34-13. And I don't think Zach Wilson can throw together 2 games in a row like that, like what he just had. So I think it's going to be kind of the same story. Dolphins are going to roll. I think they do need Tyreek Hill out there, though. They looked completely different when he was off the field. So that could be problematic, but I think Tyreek is going to be good to go. I know he wants that 2,000 yards. I think he's going to pull it together. It's not like he was kept completely out of the game, so I think just rest him up this week and he'll be fine. So I don't know. I don't fear the Jets like a lot of fantasy players do, especially when it's that Dolphins offense. Whenever they're, I think they can get it going. And I think also like they're not one of those teams that's going to lose twice and be embarrassed like that. So they're coming off a huge choke job. The Jets are not a great team. So I think they'll get it together, and we'll see our usual suspects shine.
Yeah, I did look. Tua had a bad game against the Jets, but
he did, yeah. But they were in control. Real football, it was good.
Right. Yeah. So it wasn't a good fantasy day, but it was a good day for everyone else. Hurts or Mostert, and I don't know. Achane didn't play in that one, but Tyreek got his and all that stuff. So, New York Giants at New Orleans kind of feels like a throwaway game, but the only thing I'm concerned is Tommy DeVito in that conversation with like Joe Flacco, Jake Browning. Is this someone you could have on your team? He went up over 20 fantasy points last night.
Yeah. I mean, you're doing it, you're feeling good about it. He's got the swag. Like, did you see his agent last night? And he's exactly what Tommy DeVito should have as an agent. And I feel like it's I think every now and again you do need these characters at the quarterback position, like just to come into the league and really like there's nothing that exciting about like, all right, he's an Italian guy, so what? But he just fits the stereotype so well. Just like Gardner Minshew a couple years ago. Yeah. He was in Jacksonville, he wore jorts, he was Florida man. Like he was the definition of Florida man, what you see in the news. Florida man eats bath salts and attacks a village or like whatever. And anyway, but he wasn't doing that. He was scoring touchdowns. Yeah. So, I mean, you get those characters that come through every now and again, usually for a short time. And but ride the wave while you can. Ride Tommy DeVito to not like that, but ride Tommy DeVito to a fantasy championship. Get yourself a handful of checks mix on the way.
Ride Tommy DeVito. Ride him home.
Ride him hard.
Dallas at Buffalo. So Dallas shut down Philadelphia. They had their first I feel like their first legit good win, statement win. And so, how does Buffalo do? Buffalo's playing for their life, for the playoff life right now. Every game's a playoff game. How does Buffalo do against the Dallas defense? And what about Diggs? You've always said Diggs disappears, and here he is disappearing.
He's disappearing. Yep.
So you're thinking trend holds up. Diggs is S the B all the way through the rest of the playoffs.
Yeah, I do. I think and it's gonna take some big balls to just bench this guy. Like we can say it till we're blue in the face, but if I have Diggs on my team, I'm probably still starting him.
Yeah.
As much as I'll say like, dude, he's every year in the playoffs, he does this. And it's proven right so far this year. Even though we're not in the playoffs, he's leading up to it like 6 points, 4 points, like just really disappointing. And anyway, yeah, he's someone that I think is always go ahead, draft him, trade him at the trade deadline for an equal piece that doesn't do this.
Yeah.
Because ultimately, you don't want to get to the playoffs, have a great season, and then lose to some low seed because Diggs didn't show up. And then on top of that, say you have a Justin Jefferson situation where injured after 4 points. Then you got two positions where you're depending on a lot of points and you're not getting them. So the rest of your roster probably isn't as good. And so that just amounts for a disappointing week. So yeah, Stephon Diggs, I mean, he's been S in the B for a while now. And in the playoffs. I think Josh Allen will throw his interceptions this week. Cowboys defense gets after it. I know he is also the top scoring quarterback, so he'll probably still put up his points and everything, but there will be drives that all of a sudden come into a halt or something like that. I'm definitely worried about Diggs, but do you have the balls to sit him? That's going to be the main thing. And it's a bold take. I don't see a lot of people talking about it, but if you look in the past years, Diggs hasn't done well in the fantasy playoffs. So take that into account.
Maybe his little fingers don't like the cold weather. It hurts.
Maybe. So Matt brings up a good point. The Suck My Diggs title championship first year with Buffalo. Matt had him. This was a few years ago. So I'm talking about the last 2-3 years. Look at Diggs' stats. He's not winning you a championship. So, anyway, take with that what you will. But that's kind of just my personal take on Diggs. Something that I've noticed about him that I think needs to be brought to our attention. If you do have him, and I don't know. Don't take our advice to sit him because we could be wrong. But statistics say that you should sit him, but it's just a matter of if you have the balls to do it. So we'll see.
So last one is Philadelphia at Seattle. Does Philly get it right here? They're at Seattle. Seattle's defense hasn't been that great.
They have to get it right here. They lost. It was sort of like I feel like after the Cowboys lost to the Niners, that was whenever they woke up.
Yeah.
And I think that was Philly had a similar moment whenever they lost to Dallas this last week because they just, they're losing to some, top contenders here. And I think that they do get it right. I think we see a major Jalen Hurts game, which is a week too late for you, unfortunately, in Dynasty. And, it sucks that sometimes it works out like that. But also, I think the Eagles have a very good fantasy-friendly schedule moving forward. I was very excited about being a DeAndre Swift owner a few weeks ago, and then all of a sudden they don't use him anymore. But he has such a fantasy-friendly run schedule, so expect Jalen Hurts to go off, I guess, and maybe Kenneth Gainwell. I don't know, but I don't know what Swift did, but all he's done has been efficient.
That could be the key to their sucking is they're not using Swift enough.
Right. Yeah. Go back to what you were doing. But anyway, everywhere I have them, I'm eliminated now. So, obviously those teams weren't very good, but yeah, I mean, I think, I definitely think the Eagles get it right. DK probably continues to get his. I know Eagles defense hasn't been that great, even though, on paper they seem to have a pretty solid, uh, defense, but they get scored on. So be ready for that. I think DK will get his. I don't think JSM will get his. I don't think Tyler Lockett will get his, but I believe in DK. So uh, DK have it your way, and so will the Eagles.
Yeah, DK is not afraid of the all MTSU Blue Raider defensive backfield.
Yes, they do have all MTSU Blue Raiders safeties in Kevin
Blue
Byard
Raider.
and what's his name? True
Yeah,
Blue.
yeah. So Pat's Blue Ribbon, sponsor of the MTSU Blue Raiders, and Boots Donnelly.
Do you still have that sound bit? We can play it.
Hi, this is Boots Donnelly. When I'm not busy coaching the Blue Raiders, I like to drink a Pabst Blue Ribbon. So next time you're cracking a Pabst, make sure you dedicate your next DUI to me, Boots Donnelly.
There you go.
Thanks, Boots.
R.I.P. Boots Donnelly. Never forget. He's a good man. Good luck.
There he is. Cracking a Pabst.
Cracking up.
Special request. Why not? Why not?
Can I get a Dell Yeah, brother?
I
That was a
remember.
Del Yeah for Boots Donnelly.
I remember when we played the Dahlias and it mattered. Now it doesn't.
Oh man, yeah. I remember we lit the memorial candle last week for him.
You remember I would send you like a Hulk Hogan gif every Sunday when he scored his first touchdown.
Yeah. He's like a son to us.
We were so proud of him.
I know. I know.
We got to reach out to him. Let him know.
Yeah. Yeah, we got to have him on the show maybe next year. I know we've only got maybe a month left doing this before we get into the off season. And then I don't really know what our off season looks like. I mean, I guess
Figured.
Now that we got a crowd of 3 people here, we can kind of discuss that. But yeah, I don't know. I think we maybe take a little bit of time off and then come back sometime in the summer and start looking at some rookies and things like that. I know last year we were doing a lot of beginner stuff, and now we're running the world with 35 subscribers. So, and if any of you 3 listeners are new, you can be number 36. So, we definitely appreciate it. But I think we are going to make some improvements to the show too, and that'll be a good thing. And I know we still have that stupid StreamYard logo, just over here. Oh, I think Weeman finally subscribed. He just put 36 all day. Anyway, we gotta quit using the free version of this streaming service and start paying up, I think. So anyway, we said that we would do it at 50 subscribers, but we'll see if that happens. But I think it's been a good year. I know I've had a lot of fun at least, so that's been cool.
I bet we get to 50 in the off season. We're gonna make it.
Yeah, definitely. So anyway,
So yeah, on the way out the door, first round of the fantasy playoffs. Hopefully you made it. Hopefully your team succeeds. Hopefully you're 1 seed or you're a really streaky, hot 6 seed. And hopefully Carl and Tom just beat each other up and they go out, and then you're left with the scraps and you're able to beat them in the second round. So have fun. The 2 hottest teams in the league, Carl and Tom, beating each other this week. I appreciate y'all beating up on one another so I don't have to lose to one of you. Thanks to Peepaw for messing with the seeding and jumping into the number 2 seed, which screwed the whole thing up, which basically made a winner's bracket and loser's bracket. So I really appreciate that. Just wanted to get that out there.
Love it. Well, anyway, so anyway, that was our show this week. We did pretty good keeping it about an hour this week. And anyway, there are 5 things that we need to do. Coach, you remember those?
Yeah, I do. It's live, laugh, love, like, and subscribe. There you go. Oh.